How many discounts does USAA Auto Insurance offer? Too many to say here. Multi-vehicle discount, safe driver discount, new vehicle discount, storage discount, legacy.
How many discounts will you stack up? Visit USAA.com/auto discounts. Restrictions apply.
Whatever the occasion, effortless elegance is right this way. Because Hilton brings you new ways to stay courtesy of the Nomad London. And it doesn't stop at award-winning dining in a space draped in velvet and illuminated by vintage chandeliers. No, this day goes beyond with unparalleled personalized service and attentive hospitality. Oh, and did we mention the Nomad London can be booked using your Hilton Honors points at Hilton.com? Hilton, for this day.
The Brutally Delicious Podcast. The Brutally Delicious Podcast. The Brutally Delicious Podcast. The Brutally Delicious Podcast.
Where are you guys located?
We're from Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada.
Oh, what's it like up there today? Is it nice?
It's actually not bad. It was, I think it was nicer yesterday. By the end of the day, it was clear blue skies, no clouds. Right now, it's a bit cloudy right now.
Is it?
Yeah.
You guys, are you still getting snow up there, or is not really?
No, Vancouver actually doesn't get nearly as much snow as the rest of Canada. It's something to do with the weather system we have here, but yeah, I would say it's very little compared to the rest of Canada. I don't know. We don't get snow up here at this time of year. Usually, sometimes there's a freak snowstorm.
Right. I'm in Richmond, Virginia, and it's it's in the 80s and 90s already. So summer's here.
Oh yeah, I visited that part of North America when I was younger. I think I went there actually August 2001, right before 9/11 happened, and It was amazingly hot. Like, it's probably one of the hottest temperatures I experienced in my life. I think it went up to 120 Fahrenheit that day or that week when I was there.
I've not seen that, but in the last couple of years, I know we're not talking about the band yet, but I went on a camping trip with my kids and planned it for like a year. And then the 2 days that we went, it was like the hottest days of the day was 106 and 107, and it was miserable.
Yep. It's a different kind of heat. That's for sure.
It's so oppressive, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, so let's start here. For those not familiar with Exterminatus, can you give us the 2-sentence elevator boardroom pitch?
Okay. Basically, 5 dudes getting together and trying to write something that you can jam out to. Basically, if I really had to describe Exterminatus, it's it's just 5 friends, really. Like, we don't really come together and have like a forced plan or a focused plan. Usually, it's more, hey, here's some cool ideas. Can we turn this into something?
Oh, really? So when you guys are just jamming and putting it all together?
For the most part, yes. There is a little bit of a nuance in that most of the material that we have was written quite some time ago. I used to play in a band called Xenocide back in the day, around circa 2012. Unfortunately, then that band disbanded, and we had a lot of material that I'd written for the band that I knew that I couldn't just let it go to waste. It was really good material, in my opinion. So I formed Exterminatus as kind of a one-man band, a little side project, if you will. And over the years, it just accrued members, starting first with Max Sepulveda, our drummer. And also we had another guitarist named Eli Slamang, who's different than our current guitarist, Ilya. But yeah, it just kind of started as kind of an idea, not so much a full-fledged band, I suppose.
And so those songs, I mean, obviously they've taken on new life over the years, or is it the same as it was back in the previous band?
I would say it's definitely taken on new life. And that's the cool thing with playing with such talented musicians. I don't consider myself very talented, but being in the presence of people like Max and Ilya and Luca and Lucas, it's not only humbling, but it really teaches you about not only your place in music, but where you can go with it. Like, what the confines of your own terms are and how to break those confinements. And yeah, the music and the songs have definitely taken on a new life of its own compared to the iterations that existed in 2012.
Okay. You mentioned something there. When you're writing then and you're, writing your music, are you thinking about like the confines, hey, this is what Exterminatus should be and this is what our fans are expecting? Or are you just allowing yourself to, expand those confines or break through some of those, or just do what you feel and then hope they take the journey?
I think it's a mixture of both, but I will say first and foremost, I never approach a song or an album or any idea for music with hey, this is the end state that I need to get to. I think doing that shoehorns you into kind of being stalemated almost. It's almost like, hey, I can see the end of the tunnel, the light at the end of the tunnel. All I have to do is reach it. But really, you're not realizing that there's other branching paths out of the tunnel that go other places. So I don't ever approach it with a straight concrete plan. It's more like, here's an idea. Can I make this into an entire song, or will it just serve as like a riff that I can use later on in life when an appropriate section comes up?
Is anything off limits at like that experiment? I mean, at that beginning stage?
Not so much. I will say this. A lot of people don't obviously know about us, so they don't know how we approach writing music. I write the majority of the material, and the way I approach it is I use a program called Guitar Pro, particularly 5.2. I'll die on that hill. And I write about 90 to 95% of my music in Guitar Pro and learn it after the fact. I know a lot of people might look down upon that, but the way I view it is, and this is an interesting take, if I'm sitting there with the guitar and I'm trying to come up with these ideas and riffs, I'm literally confined by what I can do with my hands. If you know what I mean. Like if I have an idea in my head, I can't actually or actualize that on a guitar right away. Maybe it's beyond my skills. Maybe I just don't know what the heck I'm doing. I don't even know how to read music. Let's put it that way. So when I write in Guitar Pro, I'm able to come up with ideas that I would never, ever, ever think of if I had a guitar in my hands. And that also makes some new challenges arise as well, because a lot of the material, when I first write it, I can't play that stuff. It's way beyond my abilities. So I have to kind of sit there for a few weeks, even a few months, and actually learn what I write after the fact. So I think in that way, it kind of separates us from the other bands in that when we come up with our stuff, it's so out there that you can't really come up with it on a guitar. But at the same time, it has that familiarity that you might be aware of or you're used to when you're listening to metal, because obviously we're pulling from things that influence us as well.
Has there ever been a situation where you've gone too far and you're like, shit, I gotta, for lack of a better word, dumb that down or make it easier?
Yeah. I would say, about 1/3 of everything that I come up with in the final iteration of it has been dumbed down severely.
Because then you got to think about playing it live as well, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing that I always keep in the back of my mind is, hey, I can sit here in a climate controlled room and record this take after take until I get the perfect take for the record. Am I going to be able to replicate that live? And the answer is no. So when we're in the recording stage, we have to kind of keep that in mind. Like, hey, I can do this in a comfortable environment, but I'm not going to be able to do this when I'm on stage and I'm sweating and the adrenaline's flowing through my veins. Yeah, so we keep that in mind during the recording stage. So a lot of the stuff, when we write it and learn it, actually ends up changing when we go into the studio to record, because we come to the realization like, hey, this riff is really hard.
Right. I get that. What's been the response to Echoes from a Distant Star Part 1?
I would say it's been fairly positive. You know, we've been reading the reviews as they've been coming in and getting a gauge for fan reactions. From what I can tell, overall, it's being fairly well received, particularly because we're not backed by any major label and, you know, we're independent. We did this ourselves.
This episode is brought to you by Indeed. When your computer breaks, you don't wait for it to magically start working again. You fix the problem. So why wait to hire the people your company desperately needs? Use Indeed's sponsored jobs to hire top talent fast. And even better, you only pay for results. There's no need to wait. Speed up your hiring with a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
Okay, fair enough. Do you, I just totally lost my train of thought. Is there something you want your fans to take away from after listening to Echoes from a Distant Star?
I just hope that they enjoyed it. I think that when I say this is obviously a subjective thing. I can't say that other people will see it my way. But when it comes to our music, I do believe every song is different. I mean, if you listen to Echoes, if you listen to Linnea K, our previous work, it's almost like every song can stand on its own. But when you listen to it in its entirety of the album, they all flow together well. And that's a kind of a chief complaint I guess I have about some modern bands is that when you put on a record, every song kind of sounds the same. And there's nothing wrong with that. They're going for an overarching theme or something that, you know, makes it cohesive. I get that. But at the same time, it plays it a little too safe. And when you listen to our music, like if you put on track 1 and then it goes to track 2, sonically, they're not the same song. They're very, very different. So that's something that I guess I take pride in when it comes to our music, is that all the songs can stand on their own.
Yeah, and I think that's interesting too, because I come from the old school, like, of albums and not just singles. And I think the art of sequencing is like a sort of a lost thing, right? Because in order to create that ebb and flow, especially if songs that you're saying are not really connected, or you have to put some time into it.
Exactly. Yeah. And, you know, when it comes to the writing stage, that's something I have slight ADHD. So I pick up on these things a lot more than the average person, I guess. But when I'm writing something, say one passage goes to a next passage, there's that transition between the two passages. And if that transition doesn't flow well, or it just sounds too out of place, I sometimes just scrap the whole song, because I hate it when you're listening to a good piece of music and then there's an abrupt change without any kind of forewarning or anything like that's right. It just sounds like it's out of place. Like, I get it. Sometimes there's abrupt changes, you know, Angel of Death, for example. I love that kind of stuff, but it has to work in the context of the music.
And I think like I said, I'm going to reference my old school leanings, but I think, you know, sitting down with a record is a journey. I know from a listener's experience. So I know it's not easy to create it from your side to make me feel that ebb and flow and that, you know, staying along for the ride.
Yeah, it's tricky, because I think when we and this is going to sound selfish, and it is, when we write our music, we're not writing it for a specific audience or even our fans, because obviously when we started this, we had no fans. We write the music, I guess, primarily for us. If we like it, we just know that the other people are going to like it. And I know that sounds chauvinistic. It's like we're not the arbiters of what is good or what isn't. But when we write something and being metalheads ourselves, if we like our music, we just know deep down that there are going to be other people out there that will vibe with it as well.
Do you ever worry that some of your fans may not take the journey if it's so different?
Could be. Once again, it's not something we put too much thought or stock into. Ultimately, if it sounds good to us, we just hope it works for the other people out there. And the thing is the world is so big and the people are so different. You can't please everyone. So we don't even bother going down that route. I feel like if you start trying to cater to one demographic, you're leaving out like 99 other demographics. So yeah.
No, that makes sense. I just know some people, you know, are not really along for the ride, but you can't create the same Exterminatus record after record, right? You wouldn't want to listen to the same Overkill record over and over. You need Feel the Fire and Horoscope, and you need to be able to, I don't know if it's see a progression or hear a progression or just hear something different, right?
True. And that's something that I guess we're going to have to work on going forward, is since I write the majority of the material, it does kind of end up sounding the same, even though I said earlier our songs sound different, which I'm still going to stand by that they do. But as someone that writes the stuff, to me, it sounds the same. So going forward, I think after Echoes from a Distant Part 2, which has already been written, I think we're going to try to get the other guys in the band to start writing their songs so that we can learn it. Fun fact, The Signal, which is a track on Echoes from a Distant Star Part 1, was written by Max Sepulveda. And oh my goodness, learning that song and recording it was torture. I don't mean anything bad by that. I mean, Max writes some really, really techie stuff, especially because he's a drummer. You would never think like, oh, this guy can, you know, write something really techie on guitar. He can. He also can play guitar really well. There's not many videos of him out there doing that because he's a drummer, but trust me, he's a really good guitarist. But yeah, learning Max's stuff as opposed to playing something that I've played for decades, it was a learning experience, man. Let me tell you.
That's great. What are your plans to take this live? Is there a plan in place?
Not quite. The thing is Max plays for the Zenith Passage and Atavisti as well. So his touring cycles are kind of all over the place. So we're basically having to work off of him. We did go on tour last summer in 2024 across Canada. Played a festival as well last summer, and prior to that, we were playing regularly live. But after the whole Zenith Passage thing, we're going to have to kind of go on the back burner a bit. I'm okay with that because, Vancouver is a very, very expensive city. And living here, we can't afford to take too much time off to go on tour. So I'm hoping our next step is to attract label attention and hopefully get some sort of backing, which would make the touring process a little bit easier for us.
And I've never been, but I've heard Canada is really difficult to traverse because there's a whole open spot in the middle, right?
Yeah, I mean, we tried to hit as many cities and towns along the way just to make it financially worth our while. Even if we didn't make much, it was enough to cover for gas, for example. Yeah, Canada is big. It's huge. And compared to the States, I've been to the States quite a few times. Your guys' infrastructure is a lot better, like the highway system and stuff, a lot better than what Canada has to offer. There's that running joke that Canada only has one road. It's not a joke. It's called the Trans-Canada Highway, and that's what we had to go drive from Vancouver all the way to Montreal and back.
And it cuts all the way across?
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, there's going to be parts where you have to go around certain areas, like there's that border with the states. So when we get to Ontario, you basically have to do a big detour around the lakes. But yeah, other than that, it does fairly go straightforward.
Nice. Do you see your music as kind of a catharsis or a ritual for confronting, I don't know, existential struggles or just struggles in general?
I wouldn't say so. When I write the lyrics and stuff or come up with the ideas, I come from a place of science fiction. Growing up, I read a lot of Isaac Asimov, Arthur C. Clarke, Robert Heinlein, stuff that a kid shouldn't be reading, to be honest, but I did, and I reread them growing up. So I draw a lot of my influences when it comes to prose, lyrical content, just even the vocabulary, if you will. It all stems from that. So when I write about, existence and out there stuff, I'm not approaching it as like, hey, listener, this might change your life. It's more like, hey, listener, if you grew up reading cool science fiction and philosophical books, you're going to like this. So that's kind of the approach I make.
So there's no responsibility then to the listener, right? You're just writing to write and not necessarily a responsibility to get a message or that across.
At this point in time with our band, no, because I feel like when you get a little too political, you also start alienating people. So we try never to be political. That's the bottom line. But yeah, in terms of a responsibility for us to the listener, I know this is going to sound bad when it's phrased this way, but no, we do not have a responsibility to the listener. When we write our music, we're writing it to make us happy, which I know sounds very selfish, but ultimately the product that comes from that is a good product. It's not one from, hey, we need to make money, or hey, let's show off with our technical abilities, or hey, let's do this, hey, do that. No, it's just five dudes getting together saying, hey, this is a cool song, we should release it.
But I think that's where you find it's the most honest and most organic, right? Where you're not worried about, not necessarily sales, but you're not worried about impressing anyone or doing anything. You're doing it for yourself. And I think people resonate with that.
I agree. And that's like, we've never articulated it like that, but that's true. When you're not putting on a front and you're being genuine, it shows. And I do hope that with Linnea Kea and Echoes from a Distant Star Part I and in the future Part 2, it shows that what we have to present isn't not a front. It's like, hey, this is what we are. This is what we do. We hope you enjoy it.
Are you one of those bands I know you said you do most of the writing. So are you one of those guys that is always writing?
Yes and no. So I have a very weird methodology when it comes to this. I don't force myself. If I'm writing a song, I'm not going to sit there and say, okay, Tabreez, you're going to have to come up with the next crazy riff that will flow from the riff that you have now. I feel when you force yourself, it's completely inorganic. It's just the way it is with me. So I don't force myself, but having the ADHD brain that I do, I could just be sitting there at work and a riff will just come into my head. And I know like, hey, this is the one that I can fit on what I'm working on. So it comes naturally to me throughout the day. It might take a couple of weeks for that right idea to pop into my head, but it does eventually.
Okay. And I know earlier you said that, some of these riffs and some of these song structures are from previous band. How does that morph into Exterminatus now? I mean, are you writing along those same lines or are you starting from scratch? That makes sense.
It does. So the majority of Echoes from a Distant Star Part 1 and 2 were written in 2012. But as we progressed as a band and new members came in and started giving their opinions and whatnot, they have morphed a lot. It also made me change the way I write. So not so much using the Guitar Pro, but the way I approach arranging riffs, it has changed compared to 2012. Before, I would just go for like a Lamb of God approach, where it's just riff after riff of progress. It's like a journey, like it holds your hand and you go on a journey from the beginning to the end. Tried to get away from that a little bit for Echoes 1 and 2 when we started rewriting in 2016. We wanted it to flow without it feeling forced, and we also didn't want to, go riff by riff by riff unless the song called for it. Which there are some stuff on the albums that it's kind of the Lamb of God approach, but there's a lot of stuff too that we've strayed away from that and made it more cohesive and more of a single, if you will.
Right. So what's next for you guys then?
So for us, I would love to play that CD release show in Vancouver. I'm not sure when that'll happen, but it'll be based on Max's schedule. Going forward, though, we'd actually, I don't know if I should be saying this, but I will. We've already recorded Echoes from a Distant Star Part 2 on guitar, but we're going to re-record Part 2 because there's 2 reasons. One, I think we can rewrite some of the songs to make them a little bit better because, like I said before, these songs are from 2012, and even though they've changed a bit, their age is starting to show, and I don't want it to become stale. So we're going to change some parts. And the second reason is Max, our drummer, he is the engineer and the person that mixes all of our stuff. So when he mixed EFADS 1, I'm going to refer to Echoes from a Distant Star as EFADS from now on. It's just a short abbreviation. Sure. So when Max was mixing EFADS 1, he said, these are really good DIs being the guitar signals that you use to reamp. But he said that there was also a lot of, dirty signal and a lot of string noise, more based on playing technicalities, how we pick the strings. And also the tone we use seemed to have like a little 60 hertz or some sort of hum in the background, which took up a lot of headspace when it came to mixing. So he said, going forward, hey, can you guys re-record these DIs since they were recorded at the same time as EFADS 1? He said, we can make EFADS 2 sound a lot better if you guys just re-record the guitars a little bit, like using better technique and better software to get a better tone so that it would cut down on that hum in the background. So going with those 2 reasons, we will be re-recording EFADS 2 on guitar. So that'll be my next big thing is recording that.
So not necessarily rewriting, but just recording it for the sonic ability or the sonic.
Pretty much, yeah. And I personally think EFADS 1 sounds really good. You can still hear the human element in a lot of our parts. Like, I don't think it's overproduced as compared to most tech death releases. You can literally hear the pick noise, and like I always say, like listen to the parts of the album where we're trem picking. That's a human trem picking. That's not computer quantized, gridded to like every 16th note that a lot of bands seem to be doing nowadays. So I liked the sonic tone of EFADS 1, but Max, being Max, he said that he could make it sound better, and I'm all for that because why not?
Oh yeah, why not? 100%. And then lastly, if fans want to find you guys, where can they do so?
We're on all major social media platforms. You can look us up. It's Exterminatus Band or just Exterminatus. It's spelled EXTERMINATUS. And then, like I said, just put the word band, BAND, at the end of it, and you should be able to find us on all social media.
And then lastly, I guess that's all I had on my questions. Did I miss anything you wanted to cover?
No, I mean, I'm here on, for you guys, so it's ask away.
Yeah, that was all I had then. So before we go then, can I get you to do a bumper for me? Your name, band, and you're listening to the Brutally Delicious podcast?
Sure. Hey, this is Tabreez Azad from Exterminatus, and you're listening to the Brutally... Oh, see, I messed it up. Sorry. Let me just, maybe I should write this down. Also, my computer is at this very moment starting to act up, so give me 1 second.
Yeah, no stress.
Like you were saying earlier, I'm also old, and technology's taking me for a ride nowadays.
I feel like my parents probably felt when the internet first started. I know.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that. I am kind of glad I was around in the 90s when that stuff started to get big, because I learned a lot about how to use computers from there, but then afterwards I stopped paying attention, you know what I mean? So, yeah. Just one sec. I'm gonna have to restart it, but let's just try it one more time. I apologize if it's a little laggy,
No,
but
editing is fine. No worries at all.
okay. Hey, this is Tabreez Azad from Exterminatus, and you are listening to Brutally Delicious.
Awesome. And I just realized we have a couple minutes left. Do you mind
Sure.
some non-music related questions that are great for short?
Absolutely. I love it. Let's go.
Okay, cool. So I'm just going to rip them out. Ready? Is a hot dog a sandwich?
Nope.
It has to be. Why are you saying no?
Because I'm one of those, what is it called? Not perfectionist. Let's just say that hot dog's not a sandwich for me. Sure, wrong. I'm wrong. There we go.
All right. You got a chance to redeem yourself here. Is cereal a soup?
Ooh. I'm going to go with no because it's not hot. I know gazpacho or whatever it's called is cold, but no, it's not a soup.
Oh, man. I don't know if we can continue this, but we're going to try anyway. Name. All right. Hang on. All right. Here. What are 3 things you could buy? Let's rephrase this. Name 3 things you could purchase at the grocery store that would make the cashier the most uncomfortable.
A carrot, hand sanitizer, and lube.
Are we still good? I got a couple more. They may get weirder. Let's see. Tell me something that has water in it. Give me 3.
A water balloon. A jug full of water. The water lines in your house.
Okay. You went tame, but I'll take that. Let's see. Hang on. I don't know if you can see me, but I've got a shitload of cards here. Name 3 things you should never borrow.
Ooh. Someone's credit. Your neighbor's lawnmower, because you might not give it back, and that's happened to me. That's why I'll say that. And name things you shouldn't borrow. Don't borrow anyone's cat. That's not nice.
Fair enough. You're staying really high on the high end here. I just asked that question a little bit ago, and I heard don't borrow used condoms, underwear, or socks.
Yeah, no, that's good. I wouldn't want to borrow underwear. That's a no-go for me.
No, not at all. All right, let's see. One more. If I can find one real quick. Name 3 reasons to go to the gym other than to exercise.
To look at your phone. I see that all the time. Influencers. That's one. And don't go to the gym if you're going to hog all the weights and not actually use them.
All right, perfect. And I just I lied to you, so tell me a way you might dry your hands in a public restroom if there's no paper towels.
Oh, find the nearest friend that has clean pants and, wipe your hands on his pants, obviously.
And then lastly, I know I'm keeping you here, but
no, it's okay.
Assuming you're stranded on a deserted island and you could have 3 records for eternity if you've got a power CD player, solar powered CD player, what are they going to be?
Yeah. Oh, man, I was waiting for this question. Okay. Nihility by Decapitated. That's the first.
Love it. Was listening to it
Planetary Duality by The Faceless. That was influential for me. And Echoes of Decimation by Origin.
Nice. I got a chance to interview and hang with Bog on 70,000
nice.
Gear, and it was just it was great. He was the nicest guy in the world, and
that's what I've heard from other people that have talked to him, is that he's very humble and down to earth. I'd love to meet him one day.
We had a blast. Yeah, he was a really nice guy, and even with their new singer change, I think they're great. They're amazing. Yeah,
I still listen to them. I mean, don't get me wrong, I prefer the old stuff from a nostalgic point of view, but I still listen to Decapitated.
I'm going to tell you, I'm a huge Machine Head fan, and I know a lot of the records he did with Machine Head get panned, but I love them.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I haven't listened to his era of Machine Head, but I should probably listen to them.
Yeah, really good. And don't read the reviews of anything.
Oh yeah, I try to go in blind when it's something new. I never try to let other people influence my decision.
Yeah, because I know there's a lot of people out there that just tear them apart, and we talked about it earlier, right? I don't think you should be writing the same record from if you want Burn My Eyes 2.0, just go listen to Burn My Eyes. You shouldn't be doing that in 25. It should be a progression and something different. And still Machine Head, but still something different, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, that's all I have. I hope it wasn't too bad.
No, it was great. And thank you so much for having me. This is actually the first time I've done a proper interview, so I hope I did well on my part.
Oh, yeah. I know. Don't go by me, though. I kind of just like to talk and move things around. So I had questions planned, and I just see where they go. So it probably wasn't your average interview, but I like to just talk.
Hey, I'm kind of in the same boat. And if you would love to have me back and talk about things other than music, I would be more than welcome to. I've had a very interesting history in life growing up. So if you ever want to pick my head about that, I'd be more than welcome.
I do a lot of stuff in the metal world. Well, still under the metal umbrella. Like we do a heavy metal cooking show, which is where this started. I don't know if you cook, but...
Oh, I do. I love cooking.
I might send you an email then because we're working on the new season now. It's going to be something like Chopped. We have a list of ingredients and you just do them at your place and send them back.
That's awesome. Yeah. Send me a link.
And then we do mental health segments if that fits into your thing. And I am real big. I'm a PhD candidate in religious studies here in Virginia. And I tie a lot of stuff back into religion and metal. In fact, that's going to be my thesis, or is my thesis.
That's really awesome, actually. That's I don't think I've ever heard those two worlds colliding before, so that's awesome.
Yeah, I've done a couple films or documentaries or whatever, but I'm knee deep into this now. I've been talking to lots of Christian metal bands, obviously, but I found a Buddhist metal band just recently, Dharma. They're from Thailand.
I'll have to check them out. Yeah,
they're like Thai monks.
There was that other bands from I don't know if it was Southeast Asia. It might have been Mongolia, maybe.
The Who?
But I'll have to look. I forget the name of the bands, but it was very interesting because it had that religious aspect of it, or the cultural aspect from that area, and it was different than what you hear about metal.
And I'll be the first to tell you I got to go, but I'll be the first to tell you that I'm not religious at all, but I'm really intrigued by the intersection of the two because it's there.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Or it's not there on purpose or whatever. So yeah, I mean it's there. If you don't mind, I'll send you an email with some stuff we're doing, and I'm always doing stuff outside the podcast. This is just a little tiny bit of it.
Sounds good. And like I said, if you would like to have me back and talk about things, metal or not, I'm more than willing.
Absolutely. Thank you, my friend. Have a great day.
You as well, Bruce. Thank you so much for having me. Take care.
I know. Bye.
Bye.